Hello, welcome to this video. In this video, I am going to show you how you can get more leads and more clients for your business. My name is Ashley. I run a company called Strategy One where we help businesses do exactly what I'm going to show you today. So it doesn't matter what business you run. It could be home services, it could be B2B services, anything really that you need to get people's attention, get them into some sort of marketing process, sales funnel, and close them. This can work for your business. Okay, so I'm just literally going to walk you through step by step how you can do that, what that kind of looks like, to give you some sort of idea in your business so that you can actually build a process. Because most businesses that I speak to and generally don't have a marketing or a sales process. It is just a wing it approach, right? A lead maybe comes in, a referral comes in, maybe someone comments on something on social media, and it's just like, what do we do? How do we do this? How do we follow up, right? And it's kind of a mismatch approach of all sorts of shit all over the place. So to actually be able to grow and scale a business, you need a marketing and sales process, right? A nice linear process to take someone from interested or potentially like looking at something all the way through to like lead, qualification, booking in, following up, nurture, and then closing that deal essentially. Now, depending on your business, this may look slightly different in terms of whether you do a quote for them, whether you need to go and see them on site somewhere, whether you can just do a sales call, a discovery, you've got to do a proposal. But ultimately, the process is pretty much the same, and you can just kind of chop in the bits that obviously are specific for your business or for your industry. Okay, so to kind of kick things off, this is what it looks like, right? Let me move this out of the way. So this is essentially what the roadmap will look like, and I'm just going to kind of walk you through this step by step and just go through it piece by piece for you. So first thing is first. Now, we need to drive traffic from somewhere. Now, obviously over here it says ads, but it could be ads, it could be content, it could be outreach. It really doesn't matter in which way that you actually go out and find the right people. Now, if you are just kind of starting out, ads could be expensive. However, it means that you haven't got to get good at doing outreach. You haven't got to get good at doing content. Like, you just need to be running ads to drive traffic in and generating leads. Now, that sounds like a very big step from just like I'm doing nothing to now I've got leads. But ultimately, a lead is just someone who sees your ad, clicks on the ad, fills in their details, and that is it. Okay. Now, most people think that this part of the process is enough, or is kind of like, okay, I've got someone pretty much ready to go. Whereas this is only really the beginning of the process. So run something to bring in that traffic. Like I say, it could be content at scale. It could be, I say at scale, right? Just pick a platform and put out a lot of stuff on it that targets your ideal client. You could run ads on something like Meta, so Facebook and Instagram. You could run LinkedIn ads, slightly more expensive, but possibility. Google ads. You could do outreach in terms of outbound email, cold calling, door knocking, right? Go to networking events. You need to bring traffic in and capture those people's details. That's the important thing here. Name, number, phone, email address. They're going to be like the biggest three things that you could potentially do. Now, this bit up here that you can see, if we were to run paid advertisement, you would want to run a retargeting ad as well. What that means is someone who has kind of come through slightly, maybe hasn't filled in their details yet, you want them to continue to see your stuff because they've had enough of an interest to click on something initially, take a look, maybe go to a landing page, go to a website. If you build in the right kind of, for example, Meta, if you're building in the pixel to the backend, we can retarget those people as well. Okay, so that's the first thing that we need to do. Now, when we pull that traffic in, we may need to direct them off to a landing page, or you might want to take them straight through to a landing page anyway, right? And again, that could be a website, it could be a landing page, it could be a single page kind of run through of what you do, a white paper, something like that, okay? Typically, if you're running ads, you're going to want to kind of collect some information and then pull them through to a landing page or some sort of like nurture page, right? You don't just want them to fill in their details, click away from it and kind of off with their day, because that very like slight interaction is probably not enough to actually engage them properly. Okay, so run the ads, get the traffic coming in, get them onto the landing page. It may even be that they don't fill out their details until they go to a landing page or the website. Okay, and maybe they fill in a contact form or a lead form on the actual landing page or website because they're now more qualified. Okay, that's putting in some friction into that process, which is good. So you've got good friction and you've got bad friction. Okay. Good friction is filtering out people that you don't want in your marketing sales process. Okay. Bad friction is filtering out everybody. Okay. So for example, bad friction is maybe your load times on that landing page or website are just so slow, people just can't be bothered to stay. That's getting rid of everybody. Good friction would be asking a question like, are you a business owner? Or do you have budget right now to invest into this solution? Okay, that would be good friction. If they answer no, then they get filtered out. If they say yes, they get filtered in. Okay, that's the next step. So from there, now it's really, really important. If we are running paid advertisement here, we want to get on the phone to these people in under 5 minutes. The biggest indicator or biggest element in this process in terms of actually getting someone who is a lead, who is kind of warmed into your actual sales funnel, into that sales process, is how quickly can we, how much can we close that gap, right? And if you can get on the phone to them and have a conversation in under 5 minutes, the likelihood of that person actually booking a call, showing up, buying your thing significantly increases. Okay, so ring them in under 5 minutes. Now we've got 2 phones here. This is what we call double dialing. So you ring them once. If they don't pick up, you just ring them straight back. Okay, quite simply, if someone sees a number that they don't know, they're more likely to just not pick up. If you ring it again, they may think it's urgent. Some phones will go into like do not disturb. But if you ring it twice, it will let that second call through. Or, you know, from a human perspective, you see a number, you may think it's like a spam number or something like that. If they call again, most like spam callers won't call you twice. Okay, so double dial if you can't get through the right time. If they don't pick up on the second time, don't like bombard people with phone calls. They're just going to block your number, which is never good. Okay. Now, from those calls, like the next thing that we're going to have essentially is like 3 options. Either you ring them, they pick up, and they're just not the right person. Okay, they're an awful fit for what you do. You don't know why they filled in this form or went to the landing page in the first place, so you can just chuck them out. Okay, this is qualification. This is making sure that who you are talking to is a good fit for what you actually do. Okay, and if they're not at this point, get rid of them. Don't try and sell to everybody. It just won't work. Okay. Now, the next point here, this question mark would be is if you can't get through to them, okay? If you can't get through to them, it's like, well, I don't know. They filled in some details. They haven't said yes. They haven't said no. I don't really know, okay? And then obviously the third option, nice green tick, means, yeah, you've given them a call and you've managed to book them in for a sales call, a discovery, a quote, a visit, whatever that thing is in your process, okay? So they're the kind of 3 options from there. Now, this is essentially where things like could get complicated, but not really. Okay, so obviously if they go to a landing page, this one here, okay, just go back 1 step, you might give them the option to just book a call straight away. And if that's the case, then obviously follow the line, it goes down here and they've booked a call. Okay, maybe you don't do that and you just grab their details on like a contact form, you give them a call, they say yeah, great, and you book them in. Okay, we've already covered that. Now if they don't pick up or they don't answer back or whatever, and you're not really too sure, we want to send them some sort of sequence. So this would look like regular calls, and just going back to my point before, don't bombard them one after another. This would be like day by day or every other day. What you should typically do when you have a new lead, on the early stages of that lead coming through, your contact points want to be quite high and frequent. So double dial in the first place, email goes out, text message goes out. Like we want to be like right in their face straight away because they've shown that interest there and then. Okay, and then it kind of like slants off. So like second day, you might want to do the same thing. Third day, like maybe just like call them. Like 4th day, 5th day, like leave a gap in between, and it just kind of like slopes off. But quite simply because the interest slopes off as well. That like you're only going to piss people off if you like call them 3 times a day every single day. Equally, like it's your attention as well. Hopefully you're going to be getting more people come through the top of the funnel. Okay, so you don't want to spend all your attention with people that are just going cold and have just clicked it for the sake of it. So spend your attention on the newer people as well. Okay, but ultimately what we want to do here is we want to call them on a regular basis. We also want to email them on that regular cadence, and we also want to send them SMS or WhatsApps on that regular cadence. Okay, what that simply means is, like I've just said, call them day 1, day 2, then maybe leave a gap, day 4, maybe leave a little bigger gap, day 6, and so on. Okay, and then same with emailing, same with SMS. Okay, nothing too much, but enough just to prompt them back into booking a call or picking up the phone. Okay, you're like, oh yeah, I forgot, I do actually want to look at that. Let's actually go and book a call. It's just a little prompt, it's just a little nudge. We're not bombarding people. Okay, now ultimately when we're doing this, a lot of people will just book a call straight from that, because you're nudging them. You're saying like, hi, look, you filled this thing in, do you want to book a call? They're like, yeah, definitely. And then they'll take that action eventually, maybe on day 2, day 4, day 6, whatever. Okay, if you get all the way through to the end of that follow-up sequence and they still haven't replied, it's probably time then to kind of get rid of the lead. Okay, it's gone too cold, they're clearly not interested. Let's just get rid of them and focus on the people who want the thing that you do. Okay, so once they've booked that call, you can send them to a thank you page in which you're going to show them material, you're going to show them things about your business, how great you are, testimonials, case studies, everything like that. So as soon as someone has clicked that button, they're like, oh my God, these people are actually really good. Look at these testimonials, look at these case studies. That's a business just like mine. And they're going to kind of warm themselves up by going through that page. Now, if you're a business that is going to go and see someone in person, you can still do this, right? I think there's a common misconception that if I'm not an online business, I can't have a thank you page, I can't do these things. You absolutely definitely can and should. So put your testimonials in there, put some case studies in there. When we book in that call or we secure that time in the calendar, even if maybe you're booking them in on your side, send them an email and say hey, just before we meet, you can check out this page of our website where it's got a load of stuff. Okay, maybe it's got a little video, maybe it's got whatever. It's a nurture step. It's something to make that person feel confident in the fact that they've just booked a call with you, or just booked a quote or a visit or whatever you do. Okay, and they're like, okay, this looks really good. It also frames that next part of the conversation in a good place because they've seen good stuff that you've done for other people. Okay, now this is important. Between booking that step and that next step taking place, we need to remind them that they've done it. Okay, the worst thing in the world is getting here and thinking yes, I've conquered the world, I've got this new lead, I'm going to sign this new contract, get this new client, and then they just go cold. Okay, and 9 times out of 10, maybe a little bit less than that, but a lot of people will forget, quite simply, right? Whether it's on their calendar or not, they're going to forget that they've even booked that call, especially if you've booked it way out in the future. Now, a top tip here is the closer you can get that call or that next step to that first point of contact, the higher the likelihood that that deal is going to close and you're going to get that new client. Okay, so one of the biggest factors and pieces of leverage here is availability. So whether it's your calendar, your sales team's calendar, whoever, the more availability you have, the higher the chance that the deal is going to close. Don't be the person, don't listen to the advice when people are make your diary look busy so they think that you're in demand. Nobody gives a fuck. Literally nobody cares how busy you are. They just want their problem solved. So if you can speak to someone back here and book them in for an hour's time, your likelihood of closing that deal just skyrockets. Okay, if you leave it 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, a week, 2 weeks, they won't even remember who you are. The likelihood that they even show up to that next step is basically 0. Okay, so the quicker you can get from step 1 to step 2, and the more availability that you have overall, the higher the chance of that person A, showing up, and B, closing the deal. Okay, so these points here are just reminders. So reminder emails, just for don't forget, we've got a call booked tomorrow at 3 o'clock. Here's the link. Really looking forward to speaking to you, whatever, and then do the same with SMS. Okay, write the SMS, the text message, like a text message. Don't write it like an email. Okay. Okay, so now from there, one of two things is going to happen. Either they're going to show up to that call, or they're not going to show up to that call. Now, if you are someone who needs to go and visit that client in person, chances are that pretty much, 10 times out of 10, you're going to actually see that person, because you're going to see that person. They can't run away, they can't ghost you, they can't avoid you, whatever. Okay. But if you do things online, if you are an online business, and you're doing a sales call or a discovery call, there is a chance that they're not going to show up to the call. This is just a no-show. Okay. Now, what you want to be aiming for really is like a 70% show up rate to your calls. Means, 30% of people are not going to show up to your call. So don't get yourself down. Don't beat yourself up if not everybody shows up. It is just business. It is just this is part of the sales process. Okay. It's really annoying, but it is what it is. Okay. So obviously, the better your reminder sequence is, the higher the likelihood that people are going to show up. The sooner that you can get that call done, or that visit, or that quote done, from that initial contact point, okay, the higher the likelihood that they're actually going to show up to that call. And quite simply, because the pain is the pain is greater at that point. They've filled in this form, or they've gone to your website, or they've gone looking for your solution because they've got a problem and they've got a pain that they want solving. That pain might not feel so painful in a week's time, or in 2 weeks' time, or even in a couple of days' time. Okay, so the shorter the distance between point 1 and point 2, the higher the likelihood you're going to get someone actually here. Okay, now, ultimately from here, let's just talk quickly about if somebody no-shows you. So if they no-show you, again, we're just going to run a little sequence, like emails, SMSs. So hey, missed you on the call. Are we doing this or not? Are you interested or not? And basically just have a 3-step process. If you get nothing back after those texts and emails, then again, let's just get rid of the lead. We could put them into a different sequence. We could do a re-engagement sequence through emails or phone calls later down the line. But ultimately, at this stage now, we can't get through to them, right? They're not picking up the phone. We're going to get rid of them. One thing that I would say in here as well, and obviously there's kind of micro steps in here. Okay, this is just a broad overview. But what I would be doing is I would be calling them before that call. I'd be calling them if they no-show. I'd be calling them kind of every day for the next 3 days, as well as doing emails, as well as sending them text messages to try and re-engage them. Some people just get tied up. Some people get busy. Life gets in the way. And if they no-show the call, you send them a text message, you give them a quick call out of the blue. They're like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Completely forgot. I really need this thing. Let's do it tomorrow. Okay. And you can just pull them back into the sales sequence, that process. Sometimes it just is what it is. Other times people say, yeah, let's have a phone call. And then they just will disappear. Some people just love to book calls and mess around. So it is what it is. The other side of things, obviously, we're going to have this sales call. Okay. Again, sales call, discovery, quote, site survey, whatever your business is. Okay. And that is going to close, as in you're going to sign that client, or you're not going to sign that client. Okay. And there's offshoots of that as well. You don't have to close them on the call. You may book a follow-up call. Again, there are nuances in different businesses, but hopefully seeing this, it's just getting you to the point of okay, there is a process here. There are things that I need to do between just showing some ads or doing some content and actually closing the deal. Okay. Most people think that you could just go from here to here in one step without doing anything. Okay. And that's not the case. You've got to build in these things. They're not difficult. They're not overly hard to do. But you do need to have a process. You have got to take someone through a journey to get them from interested, or at least aware, through to actual paying client. Okay. So just to read through it, traffic to begin with. Okay. Pulling people in from somewhere, getting people's attention, right? Some sort of qualification, some sort of friction, as we said, good friction, bad friction. Then we want to get them set. Okay. Get an appointment booked with them within 5 minutes. Okay. Ring that person within 5 minutes. From there, we obviously want some sort of nurture or some sort of follow-up sequence if we haven't spoken to them on the phone and booked them. Book the call and then get them to a thank you page. Again, like, take that thank you page with a pinch of salt. It could be sent through an email. You could redirect them there. They could click to book and it goes directly there. Something to like reinforce the positivity of actually booking that call in the first place. Reminder sequences to actually try and get them to show up to the call. Obviously, a no-show follow-up, be that email, text message, phone calls, etc. Try and pull them back into that process, and then hopefully close the deal. Once again, it could be close them on that deal there and then, okay? It could be discovery call, do a proposal, follow-up call. It could be see them in person, do a proposal, do a quote, go back and see them, right? That closing sequence is going to be specific to your business, to your industry, but hopefully you get the point, okay? You understand that this here is actually a roadmap. It's a process that we're going to go through with lots of little micro steps in between, going from just getting someone's attention to closing business. Now, if you're a business owner, like, you need something like this in your business, okay? And I plan to do more videos getting really tactical around all of the ways that we can actually run this and do this and what you need to say and how you need to say it. So like, in the comments of this video, if there's something here specifically that you would like me to really like dig into and get into the weeds with, just leave a comment. Like, we're going to be making videos around this, so please do. Really appreciate you watching this video, tuning in, taking the time to run through this with me. If you've got any questions at all, again, in the comments. Equally, as I say, like, we help business owners do pretty much this, whether you're B2B, B2C, whether you need to do outbound, whether you need to run paid ads, whether you just need that system overall. This is literally what we do. We either do it for you or we'll show you how to do it, our systems, like literally just give it to you on a plate, okay? So if either of those are interesting to you, there will be a link in the description just below. Just click on that. If you want to book a call, feel free. If you don't want to, no dramas at all. It's no worries. But hopefully this has helped you, and I will see you on the next video.